All right, all right. I see us streaming in the Facebook group now, and welcome again to everybody on Zoom. This is Pro Power Hours, something we do every Thursday at this time. You can think of this as a product training webinar or like a group onboarding class almost. You can come and attend every week and see a product, a feature, maybe a few of those. We kind of go over all the benefits, all the reasons why you should use um, said products or features, answer your questions, and then give you a full demo, full tour inside House Call Pro. Occasionally do some other topics as well. We've talked about some security practices in the past, and we've had some folks on from Mineral who we partner with for payroll. So do some little things here and there as well. Today's going to be one of those days. We're going to talk a little bit about Google My Business, or excuse me, Google Business Profiles first. I'm going to go over some stuff and then I'll pass it to Phil to kind of go through some of the stuff that connects with House Call Pro. So, uh, which, by the way, Phil is one of our onboarding specialists. He's with us every week, almost every week. And somebody was asking just before this, do we have a recording library? Can I watch past sessions? We do. It's in our help center. It's on our YouTube page. So if you're new around here, you're seeing this on Facebook, I'll drop those links so you can get access to those. But yeah, if you aren't new around here, we're gonna do things a little bit differently. I'm gonna share screen and go through some of these slides. If anybody has any questions along the way, just drop them in the chat. All right, let's share screen. All right, I'm gonna jump into some different tabs. I'm gonna go off of presenter mode here and just kind of show you guys the slides. But to get things started, just want to talk about some best practices for Google Business Profiles. For some of you, this may be review, this may be stuff you're already doing and excelling at, which is great. For others, maybe you'll walk away with some tips or something you didn't know. Or if you've never started a Google Business Profile, this is a great starting point as well. Just some great tips and tricks as you're building that out. So lay of the land here, we're going to talk a little bit about must-have fields, photos, posts, talk a little bit about what you should be filling your profile with. I'm going to talk a little bit about the reviews and just your reputation and how to best manage those. Phil is then a little bit going to show you how to connect that with House Call Pro. And we've got some exciting new features coming to reviews, just learned about today. So we'll probably touch on those in the coming weeks. Talk about Reserve with Google, connecting your online booking, and then local services ads, and then we'll go over any of your questions. So, Google Business Profile, uh, some really interesting stats here, right? 70% more visits to businesses with fully completed profiles. I know that's a big deal to me as a consumer, as a customer. If I'm going and Googling, HVAC service near me, or I'm looking for a restaurant or anything like that, I'm usually checking that business profile or I'm searching them up on Google Maps. Um, and yeah, you're more likely to get a customer, convert a customer if they visit your profile, if it's got photos, if it's filled out, it's got your hours. 40% more direction requests from profiles with quality photos. Not a lot of people are navigating to your businesses, but if you do have a storefront or an office front that you're having people go to, that's useful. Um, and yeah, so some basic stats, some things that you should have filled in. Business name, obviously, obvious number one. You want to have your business name, but you want it to be the exact consistent business name you're using really across all of your platforms. Really, you want to match it with House Call Pro. If you're hoping to connect your online booking, your reviews, it's really important that you've got that consistency across platforms. Um, you want to be specific, right, with your primary and secondary categories. So if you are a plumber, you should be a plumber, not a general contractor or construction or anything like that. If you're somebody that is doing multiple services, you can add those secondary categories. But the more specific, the better, because that's what people are searching for. I know I used to have a handyman business, and we had to list a ton of different services so that we could get people that were searching for those niche services that might not have been blanketed in handyman or construction or whatever you're doing. You want to have your phone number, and I believe I'll refer to Phil on this, but I believe some of this has to match. I think your phone number has to match with your House Call Pro account, so that you can be verified. Um, Always include your hours of operation, holidays for sure. I know a lot of people, right? We said Memorial Day. Were you open? Were you doing service? Were you doing business on Memorial Day? Sometimes it's obvious. People might think, okay, they're probably closed. But I know for me, I always check, and it's helpful to see, especially if it says like holiday hours. I'm like, okay, they've been in their Google business profile. They're paying attention to this. I'm going to show you a couple of our Super Pros profiles, but you want to have a good business description. It's really recommended around 750 characters. You want to have that services list with descriptions and prices. Any attributes, right? If you're a woman-owned business, if you are veteran-owned, etc., add that on there. It's a nice touch. Um, we'll show you a little bit in a little bit how to add that appointment link. It's really a book online button that we're gonna show you guys. And then yeah, have messaging, have your reviews open. Uh, when I'm referring to some of those services, Anthony's got a few of these built out. There's also a products section as well. So if you offer like if you offer Nest thermostats, for instance, and somebody's interested in Nest thermostats, it's good to have that on here. And you can fill this out as best as possible. He's got his pretty good description here. And he's been active. He's been posting on his Google business profile 16 hours ago, 2 days ago. Um, he came up, his website's up here at the top. He's got his book online button that we're going to talk about. Um, and he's got some photos. So moving along, photos, right? You want to have anybody that's on your team. You want to have professional, good-looking photos, specifically at a job site. If you've got before and afters, if you've got a good photo of your team in front of a truck. It's really good to add photos on a weekly basis. If you can't do weekly, at least try to shoot for monthly to keep refreshing your profile so it looks like it's active, it's being used. This is an interesting stat. 100 plus photos get 520% more calls. I don't know where that came from. I don't know how true that is, but I do know the more photos you have, the more calls, the more likely Google's gonna promote you up in that list. Ask your techs to take photos, right? Hopefully you're already doing that for your social media purposes. Get those before and afters. Have them take photos of each other on job sites if they can. You don't need a photographer for everything. Take it with a cell phone. Take it out in the field. Um, Amber DeLong has got some really good photos of her team right front and center. That's the first photo. He's got his company shirt on. He's doing some work on a condenser unit out here. Um, I had a few of those photos as well. So it's for my business. One of my team members, right, loading up a moving truck. My Google business profile is still active these days, which is funny. A couple others on here. Chris Godwin, he's got his Laser Focus Solutions, his trailer. It's his first photo. So anything with your branding front and center definitely helps build some legitimacy. I showed you a little bit on Anthony's profile. Dave's super cool, right? He posted in the last 16 hours. Anything you can post about, kind of treat your Google business profile like your social media. So if you're posting something on your Facebook page, maybe you're running a special, maybe you're showing, like I said, some before and afters, just add that to your social media roundup there. Any seasonal promos, team spotlights, people really like the authenticity. So if you are posting about a team member on your Facebook page, again, right, share it on your Google as well. There is this Q&A section, and in preparation for the session, I was trying to find the Q&A on all these different folks' profiles. I don't know if Google's doing some stuff. When I was researching it a little bit, it said they were working on uh, integrating the Q&A with AI with Gemini. So I don't know if that's changing in some ways, but you'll notice sometimes when you Google a business, there's like a questions and answers section right underneath some of that key info. Be on top of that, right? You can answer those questions, and you don't want anybody to be able to answer those questions and leave their answers up there. Sometimes people add bad answers or add incorrect information to your profile. Anybody can recommend a change or try and request ownership. So it's important to be mindful of those things and use, keywords naturally, right? We provide HVAC repair in Phoenix. Again, back to that specificity. Can't say that word, but check weekly, be specific. Um, and yeah, I'm gonna fly through a few more of these, but we'll talk about connecting your reviews with House Call Pro. Um, but everybody knows Google is king. If you've been in our community, our Facebook community, everybody's asking, I want all of my reviews to go to Facebook. I don't want House Call Pro website reviews. We hear you. Actually, that's one of the things we're working on. But yeah, 88% of consumers trust online reviews, and most people go to Google reviews. I don't know too many people are using Yelp and some of those third-party sites these days. It's the first thing I'm checking too. All right, does this restaurant, does this pro, does this storefront have, a star rating of, I mean, me personally, it's 3.5 or above, ideally 4 or above. Um, and it's important to be responding to those reviews. We'll talk about that in a second, but responding to those reviews positively in every time, whether it's a negative or positive review you're receiving. Um, never buy reviews. Some of this is good advice. Never buy reviews. Never ask people to start leaving reviews that can delegitimize your business pretty quickly. Uh, Google has lots of tools that they use to track. Unfortunately, fake reviews do happen sometimes as well, and I'll get to that in a second. But anytime you receive a review, right, you want to try and include your customer's name. Try to respond within 24 to 48 hours. And again, if you're receiving a review you don't feel like is accurate, you feel like your customer is sharing information that is incorrect, still, you always want to respond as positively as possible, right? People are reading not only the review from that customer, but they're reading what you're replying with and what you're responding with. And I mean, for me personally, how a business responds to a negative review matters to me a lot as well. If I see that they're taking action, they're responding positively, I might be a little bit more prone to using them versus if they didn't respond at all or responded combatively. This is some of the directions on how it works with House Call Pro, but you'll be able to connect. We'll show you this on screen. If you're new, if you don't already have this connected, connect your Google Business profile in the review section. You can set it up so that 99% of your review requests are Google requests. Prompts your customer to leave those, and then you can see all of that in the reviews dashboard. We'll show you some of that in a second. Reserve with Google is our integration with online booking. So like I showed you before, like Anthony's got it on here. He's got this big blue book online button, and it goes right to his online booking page with House Call Pro. Put in the address, and I can start filling that out right away. It's completely free. There's no cost to do this. You can use your online booking in House Call Pro and connect it. Google's not going to charge you anything for that. You'll get pinged in your job inbox. Customers can use it anytime, day, night, 24/7. And yeah, really easy to connect. We'll show you that in a second. If you don't have, we'll go over some of the details, but if you don't have a storefront or you don't have a location, you'll actually see like Chris Godwin with Laser Focus Solutions. He just has his zone here. He doesn't have an address listed, and he's still got that book online button. So don't let that be a factor to not include your Google Business, your book online button on your Google Business profile. And then lastly here, just some stuff on local service ads. I'm not as familiar with local service ads, but you can set that up as well. You can integrate it with House Call Pro, have those feed into your job inbox. Those are usually those sponsored repairs here. Like I searched HVAC repair in Shoemakersville. Amber's got a really good Google Business profile. It's really filled out. She's got, everything I talked about. She's got her 5-star reviews. She's responding to them all. She's got some posts on hers. She's got those photos. And she's appearing as #1 under the regular listings, but there's those sponsored listings with LSA. And some of those services as well. It's, you're contacting your customers are contacting multiple pros and you're paying for those leads. So a few things with that. There's some background checks. There's some license and insurance proof. This is stuff that I would already be having in place and adding to your Google Business profile already, but Google will verify all of that and give you that trust badge so that you can receive more calls. quick comparison, right? Reserve with Google is free. You should do this today. If you don't already, especially if you have online booking on your website, there's no reason why you shouldn't add it to your Google business profile. You just have to have a verified page, uh, and it's really a low connection setup effort. Google local services ad a little bit higher, right? You got to go through some application processes, background check. You're going to be paying per leads. It's going to cost you something. But I hear mixed reviews. I hear some people have really good success with it. So if your business is slow, you need some more leads coming into your inbox, down your pipeline, uh, Google local services ads is a good start. And then some of the FAQs kind of answered some of this, but if you don't have a physical address, that's okay. Showed you a profile that doesn't have one. We'll go over how to get that book online button on your profile. Anytime someone leaves you a fake review, I see this come up in our Facebook group all the time. Flag it with Google, report it. It doesn't always get taken down. I know it doesn't always go the way people hope it will, but I'd say at least 60% of the time, fake reviews usually are removed. And it's best to, again, stick with fake reviews. Don't try and flag any reviews that might, from customers that you might have worked for that you don't want on your profile. It's also recommended to try not to duplicate content. You can reuse some of the same content, but Google is very specific. And if it sees the same content being posted again, it might flag that and can put your account at risk. Housecall Pro does not charge anything extra for your integrations. So even though Google local service ads will cost you something to receive those leads, Housecall Pro is not charging you any kind of fee for using that. And the typical verification, right, if you're trying to get on LSA is 1 to 2 weeks. So some key takeaways before I turn it over to Phil and we show you guys some of those connections. Number one, just audit your GMB, right? Go through it. If you're not making posts, if you haven't updated your photos in a long time, I would challenge you to try and do that sometime in the next week or two. Set up those weekly posts, use AI. There's lots of tools out there now. So if you're not sure what to post about, maybe you don't have a big online presence, go chat with Claude, with Gemini, with ChatGPT, get some ideas, and get some photos together and start posting those. If you've got any recent reviews that you haven't responded to, I would get in there and respond to those. And I mean, number one thing for me would be connect your reviews with Housecall Pro so that you're getting more Google reviews automatically, and then enable that online booking button. So, Phil, I'm gonna turn it over to you now. We'll start showing you guys some stuff inside Housecall.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, let's get into it. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen, and we'll just kind of hit on the couple of things that Chris was talking about. I don't have a Google Business account, so I'm not going to be able to get into, the very specifics, but at least within House Call, I'm going to show you where you can put on, turn on all these integrations and how in a sense, be able to see how it's going to look. So, first thing that I know that we were talking about was really reserved with Google. Actually, I want to even take a step even further back, which is the Google profile. So, I've talked to a lot of pros when they come into onboarding, and I'm going to say a majority of them already have a Google Business profile. But if you do not have a Google Business profile, I'm going to show you is, and I just learned today. So if some of you have a different looking screen than I do, we did just release like a new layout. Everything that's kind of up here at the top is now on the left-hand side. So anything, if you have the new view for the platform, just understand I'm going to go over here to our account settings, which I believe is down here at the bottom for the new for the people that have the new layout. But we're going to go up to our account settings, and it should open a side menu here on the left-hand side in the new setup. But um, we're going to go to booking. And in here, there should be a tab for Reserve with Google. And if you go over here, we do have a spot right here to schedule a free call. We do have a fully dedicated Google Business Page team here with us. So you can schedule a free call with them at any time. They will help you build one and they will help you build out essentially all the features that we're going to talk about in just a moment. So, wanted to point that out. If you do have a Google business page and you haven't connected it for online booking yet, I did a whole session on setting up online booking. I think we've done about three of them by now. So, I did just post a link. I know Chris posted a link at the beginning of the session to the library. So, to get all the nitty-gritty stuff on setting up your online booking, check out one of those sessions we've done in the past. But that last step right there is connecting it to your Google business page, which you can do right here. Okay, so now let's talk about reviews since that was the first thing that Chris was talking about. So we're going to come on up here to our apps page. I forget what it looked like on the new format, but anywhere that you can find your app store. Um, and once we click on it, we do have our option for reviews. If you actually do have to go all the way into the App Store, you can do so as well, but I'm just going to go to reviews right here, which is actually going to take us to our marketing center. And within the marketing center, that's where all of our reviews are going to live. And you can see here that I have already every account has reviews that are linked to House Call Pro, but you do have the ability to link to Google right there, as well as connect to Facebook. I do believe I've heard that the connection to Facebook has been fixed. I know it was down for quite some time, but now that that's been fixed, you can connect to Facebook. But the point of our session today is connecting to Google. So right there, when we go ahead and click on connect to Google, it's just going to go ahead and go through all of these steps, pretty similar to how we've done things in the past. I don't have a Google business profile, but once we go ahead and hit connect to Google, it's going to go ahead and prompt me to go ahead and sign in to my Google business page. With that, I am aware that once it is connected, anybody that has a Google Gmail account, when they leave you a review, it's going to automatically go to Google. I've had a lot of pros ask me, well, I want all of my reviews to go to Google. If that's the case, when you have your connections here, you can come on over and I believe it's under, yep, actions, and it's going to be edit distribution. When we click on that, it does give us the ability. Again, I don't have a Google business page. I don't have a business page in Facebook, but there would be similar to what we see here, a field for me to go ahead and say, I want to send 0% of my reviews to my House Call Pro website. And there would be the option up here where I can go ahead and put in 100%. So that way, all of my reviews are going to go straight to Facebook. But just to mention one other thing to call out about those, I know we've talked about reviews in the past, but reviews are always going to be shown here within kind of this little review center within the marketing center for you. So even if they do go to Google, this is where you'll be able to go to not only see those reviews, but there is also the place to go ahead and reply those reviews. So wanted to point that out that this is your hub for your reviews, regardless if you connect to Google or not, but this is also where you're going to go ahead to connect to your Google business account. So then the next thing that Chris brought up was the reserve with Google. Now, I did show you all just a moment ago, and we'll just do it again pretty quickly, as we'll go into our settings here, and we're going to go to booking and reserve with Google. And as I mentioned, you can schedule a free call with our team to go ahead and help you book that, set that up with you. Again, just kind of hitting on the highlights that he mentioned earlier is between the Google Reserve versus Google Location Service Ads is the Reserve is completely free. Hence why we have that free call for you. It's going to naturally capture the customers searching for your services, links directly to your Google business profile, invites customers to schedule an appointment with you directly, and it's all powered by your House Call Pro online booking. So again, just kind of I'll show kind of from a high view here within our booking settings, but again, I went through this in depth within a couple of our sessions in the past. So in here within our general settings, we can go ahead and set up, how we want people to be able to be able to make appointments online, set up our hours of business or hours of when we want customers to be able to book online, setting our arrival window, our earliest availability. Do we want customers to book same day or not? Or do we want to push them out a couple of weeks? Also, being allowed to set up your team availability. So, anybody that sits in the office all day, like my regional manager, I'm going to turn him off to make sure that he doesn't get booked for online booking. Also, since the reserve connects to your House Call Pro online booking, if we go over to services and pricing, this is really where you can go ahead and see basically your quote unquote online booking menu. So this is where you can monitor things. I've shown in the past that all of these pull from your price book. So within your price book, you can set whether you want a particular service to be available for online booking or not. If it is, it's going to be able to fall onto this list. And really, from this particular section, we can just kind of rearrange the order here or go directly to that service to make any adjustments. Taking a step back, and then also within the online booking settings, I mean, this is more stuff that goes towards your website. So I'm gonna save that for checking out the online booking session. But in here, this is where you can also set up, do you want to have a payment or a deposit made when a customer goes through the online booking process? Do you want to show your pricing or not? I've had people ask me, why would you not want to? Some people find it that more of that service is based on when they actually get out there and do the estimate, so they don't want to give a customer like a straight up price at the front end of the point of sale. And then also setting up your booking flow options, and also a great place for advanced tracking. Um, I do know that when you have the connection with Google Reserve or Google Location Service Ads, when a customer does go through the booking through there, you don't really need a tracking attribute link, because with the integration, once that lead comes into House Call Pro, that we're already going to know where it's coming from. So speaking of that, before I talk a little bit about location service ads, is I want to show where that these are going to be coming into. So for this, it's going to be up here in your job inbox. Now, we've also done several sessions in the past about the whole job inbox, so I recommend taking a look at those. But we're going to focus today mostly just pointing out is that when we go to our job inbox for our leads, if we're looking for something that is specifically Google related, um, let's see, mine should be popping up in here. Okay, there we go. So for the Google ones, I know that there is a Google location service ads, but I've recently saw that we are disbanding that. Basically, everything is just going to be located under your Google tab. So Google location service ads and reserve with Google, any leads that come from those two is going to go directly into your Google page right here. And what I would recommend to make sure that everything is working correctly is coming into your job inbox. And as you can see, there's the setup button right there. When I've walked through this with pros before, it's again similar to the reviews where it's just simply asking for you to log into your Google business page and that account so that it'll go ahead and make that integration connection. So with Google location service ads, for that, it's going to be up in your apps section. So if we don't see it within your little apps right here, we can go to the App Store. And I'm going to go to all apps just so that we can see all of them. And it's going to be, it's usually, it was in the apps. Did that change, Chris? Did that get moved over to the inbox?
Yeah, I think it's just in the inbox now.
Okay. Yeah, so because I remember we used to be able to turn it on in there. So yeah, for this integration, you're gonna go back to the you're gonna go to the job inbox where we just were. Again, just from my resources that I've seen is that everything should feed once we connect this, it will still feed into that one Google spot here within the inbox. But when we are setting up our Google location service ads, we will want to go into here. First thing you'll want to do, as Chris mentioned, is we will want to make sure that you are Google guaranteed, where it's you just kind of sign up. It does like a little bit of a background check. You put a credit card on file, which will pay for any phone calls, messaging, and booking leads that come through this particular generator. And ads can be phone calls, messages, or bookings powered by your online booking. So similar to Reserve is everything is still powered by your online booking that you set up in House Call. So right here, there's a link to help you go ahead and get Google guaranteed. And there is also a link right there that gives you step-by-step instructions on how to go ahead and set this up. And then with that, I think that's all we had within the slides. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I know I did want to bring up the job inbox, which we did. And as I was kind of going through other resources we had, Chris, I didn't really see many other things. So let me know if there's something missing or if there's something else we want to chat about.
Yeah, I think those are the three main connections with your Google Business Profile. It's reviews, online booking, and then the service ads. Um, Not still Google related, but not Google Business Profile related. It's also that Google Calendar integration as well. I guess it's a good call out. Um, as a
Oh,
backup.
yeah,
So
that's what I was
for
going to
some
say.
reason you're locked out of your House Call Pro account. You want to add your jobs and appointments, or maybe you use your Google Calendar for other things. You can uh, connect one Google account. I don't believe it has to be the one that's associated with your Google Business Profile. I think you can choose any Google account to connect your schedule to, and all of your jobs and appointments and estimates will pop up on Google Calendar.
Yeah. As I was looking at some of these questions, I saw one from Cam about the cost associated with each lead from Google. Chris, do you have some insight on that since you have a
That's a good question. I think it depends. Um,
I would imagine that that's something that when you set that up, Google will tell you what that is.
yeah, and I believe there's different tiers, so you can. I think it's more like you have a certain amount of money associated every week or every month, if I'm not mistaken, and then they'll just use up uh the money that you have associated. Different leads cost different amounts, depends on the job size.
But I figured. I see Fabiola. I don't see Google location service ads in my inbox list. If that's the case, what you might want to do is if you go up to your apps, and it's going to be under job inbox. I believe it's under manage settings from here.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and then you can go ahead and turn it on.
Actually don't see it in that
Yeah, I'm
list.
not seeing it on here. That I'm No, it's not going to be a managing pipeline. Hmm. That's interesting. We might have to follow up with you because I recall it used to be you would just go into here and then you would just simply turn it on within your job inbox settings. Okay. Um, yeah, Fabiola, we'll follow up with you. We're gonna have to dig into this a little bit.
Yeah,
Because
I was gonna say I'm like reading through some internal communications here. If you're interested, you might have to chat in. That was something that was being shared. if you chat in through the blue chat bubble, if it's not appearing for you, they should be able to help you.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of any other way if you don't see it, because that would make because I guess that would make sense. Maybe because my account's a little bit older, I still have kind of like a lot of the legacy stuff that it's showing up here for me, and I know that in some of the stuff that I read is that like everything is supposed to be feeding into your Google section here, so that might be what it is, but we can certainly double check. In the box on the bottom right of the page, right? You may have the new layout, I'm guessing. Oh, for the chat box. Yes. Yes. Bottom right hand side. Cool. All right. And I see one from Sammy. This might be a little off topic, but I just wanted to ask if we archive a user that's connected to our 5-star reviews, will that affect the reviews in any way? From my understanding of the system, the answer would be no. If you're archiving if you're archiving a customer in your House Call Pro system, their reviews should be there because it's captured by that review.
So,
Cool.
y'all, any other questions we can answer, go over?
Oh, when you archive a team member, it would still kind of be the same thing because the reviews are tied to the job, not necessarily the person who did them.
Random call out as well, just since we're talking about team members. I was mentioning through Google Business Profile, adding new photos and um, getting, pictures of your team working out in the field. Just with archives team members or team members that are no longer with your business, would recommend having some kind of photo release or some kind of document that your employees fill out when they get onboarded, just to cover yourself if you're using any of them for your branding. All right. Yeah, and bear with us too while this new user interface is rolling out to everybody, that navigation moving over to the left-hand side. We're getting used to it as well, so we'll hopefully start showing things in that view in the coming weeks moving forward. But I'm going to plug for next week, next Thursday, a week from today. It's our virtual summit, Built to Last. It's going to be happening all day. There's going to be a few different tracks going on. We have a full Spanish speaking track, we've got an AI track, and then we'll also be going over all of the latest House Call Pro features and products that are new. So, recommend getting signed up for that, even if you can't attend it day of. If you sign up, you'll get the recordings, and you'll also be entered into a contest. We're going to be giving away a ton of Milwaukee tool sets and stuff. So don't miss out on that. Even if you're not going to be able to attend, get signed up for it. Um, and so since we're having that, we won't be here next week. We'll come back in 2 weeks and pick up again on some new topics. If there's any suggestions, if there's anything that we can help you with, let us know. You can drop it in the chat or you can send it to me via email. We'll be planning out the next few topics heading into June up to the 4th of July. So, and if you're looking to get signed up for the summit, I think it's like in everybody's accounts. Can't miss it. Probably got in a text about it. But if you do need help, if you need me to get the link for you, just let me know. Awesome. All right. Well, I hope this was helpful. Yeah, I'll get the link right now. Thank you all too for bearing with me. Definitely not an onboarding specialist or teacher, so I appreciate y'all going through the slides with me today.
You did great, Chris.
Let's see. Give you guys that summit link right now. Here we go. That give you guys a second with that. But otherwise, yeah, hope to see y'all at office hours tomorrow, and we'll catch everybody at the summit in a couple weeks. Appreciate it as always, Phil.
Sounds good. Bye.
All right, take care.